welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about should you mod your car, or WX or STI, or any car for that matter, if your car is a daily driver. A lot of people come to me asking me, hey, is this modification good for a daily driver? Is it annoying? Is it this or that? And you know, I try my best to answer everybody, but you know, this is the question that like I said, I get asked on the daily, and I figured I would kind of go over my thoughts and my experience driving a 2017 STI as a daily driver. Now, if you guys don't know, you can go back and check my videos. I have a pretty, I wouldn't say extensively modified STI, but I've done a lot to it. And you know, I drive this car every day. I drive it to work. I drive my kids in it. I go do errands in it. You know, the basic daily driver stuff. When I was looking to get a new car, I wanted something that wasn't going to hold me back from weather or anything for that matter. I just wanted to be able to get in the car and drive and not have to worry about anything. And you know, being a dad and you know, having kids and everything, you don't want your kids to you know, hold you back from your passion and something that you really enjoy doing. So you know, you want to bring them along and have them experience it with you. So having 4 doors and being able to, you know, fit the family in the car was really important to me. So for me, the STI just kind of checked all the boxes. You know, first, don't get me wrong, a stock STI or WX is absolutely perfect to drive as a daily driver. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want anybody getting the wrong idea thinking like, oh, you know, I drive a stock so-and-so, it's not worthy or, you know, it's not a good car or something like that. Like, that's not the case at all. This opinion is purely going to be just from my experience, just driving an STI, a modified one at that, and just kind of sharing my experience with you guys and, you know, kind of letting you in on what it's like to drive a modified STI every single day. This is a 2017 Subaru STI. You can go back and check my old videos for all the modifications that I've done. But I've owned this car for almost 4 years now. And I've driven 31,596 miles. So I have a decent amount of seat time in this car to, you know, daily driving it, to give a good idea of what it's like to own this car every day and drive it. I've also owned a 2013 Subaru WRX hatchback as well. I drove that car for about 26,000 miles. And I also have a 2018 Subaru Outback. So I have a pretty decent amount of miles under my belt with Subaru. You know, obviously the Outback is not really modified. I did a few little things here and there, like lighting stuff, but otherwise that car is completely stock. But my other two, definitely modified. I've done, you know, a lot of things to both of them, and I daily drove both of them. So for me personally, I can't drive stock cars. There's only been one car in my life that I've driven completely stock that I really didn't have any motivation or want to modify, and that was actually the car before this one, which was a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude. I bought that SUV right before we had our first kid. I was kind of getting out of the car world for a little bit, just kind of resetting my priorities, and I just wanted to focus more on the family. Not that I don't now. It was a big life change having your first kid, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't focusing on, you know, is my driver's side front, you know, an 1/8 inch higher than my passenger side rear, you know, like I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. So I ended up getting, you know, a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Absolutely loved it. I mean, ultimately it was super boring, but it was a really, really nice car to own. And that was the only car that I ever driven, I guess, stock. So coming to the STI, I wanted something that I can, you know, enjoy with the family. It wouldn't hold me back, but I still wanted to modify it. You know, it's a really silly saying that a lot of people say, but honestly, it's true, at least for me. Life is too short to drive boring cars, and I completely agree with that. You know, ever since I was a kid, I've always just had to tinker with things. I always wanted to modify them. I was really into paintball, so my paintball gun was completely, you know, completely customized. Basically had no stock parts on it. Every single bike that I owned, I always upgraded the suspension and tires and wheel, everything. You know, that's just the DNA in me. I always wanted to modify stuff. I just love putting my personal touch on it. I love taking things apart, putting them together, and just learning about whatever it is that I was, you know, enjoying at that moment in my life. When it came to cars, it was no different. I just always wanted to modify them. I always wanted to put my personal touch on it. I wanted to learn You know, in every one of my cars, I've been able to do that, thankfully, which I'm grateful for every single day. You know, I've had the opportunity to basically do everything that I've wanted to do to my cars. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean like a look at me kind of statement. It's more of, hey, you know, I'm extremely grateful and I understand, you know, what this may look like to some other people. So, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not some snobby kind of person. Every single day I get to drive this thing is an absolute blessing. And, you know, it's such a great feeling being able to get in this car. And I never take it for granted any day of the week. Always thankful to be able to walk out to this car. So with that said, should you modify your daily driver? For me, absolutely. It's impossible for me to keep my hands off of things. You know, like I said, I just want to make it my own and create this vision that I have in my head. There is a line that you need to draw. You need to understand that you do daily drive this car, and going over the line can basically make it unbearable. You know, it makes you not want to drive it. A couple of cars ago, you know, I did that to one of mine. I went so far with it that I never wanted to drive it. A, because I was afraid of breaking something, and B, it was just so expensive to do stuff. It ultimately made me want to just not drive the car because I was always so afraid of that. And I didn't want to do that with this one. I wanted to make sure that every single thing that I did it had a purpose. You know, I wasn't just doing stuff just to do stuff. It was because I had this vision in my head that I wanted to create, and I wanted to make sure that it was going to be fun. It wasn't going to hinder the performance or the overall driving dynamic of this car. And the best part about it is I can put my kids at the back and we can go for a drive and they can enjoy it with me. That is one of the best, you know, parts about this car for me. So, you know, with these cars, it's for STIs and WRXs specifically, it's so easy to go over the top with these. You know, the aftermarket support is insane. It's kind of hard to hold yourself back. I mean, obviously, you know, finances are going to limit you, but at the same time, the possibilities are endless. So you just really need to know where that line is to not go over the top and make your daily driver just not fun to drive. For me, you know, I've done it all. I've done suspension, I've done wheels, exhaust, you know, performance stuff, cosmetic. I've done everything basically you would really want to do to this car. Everything that I did is an extremely reputable part. You know, I really did a lot of research on everything that I've done. And the reason why I did those specific modifications is because I felt those parts were lacking on the stock STI. You know, I felt like they can been improved, just like, you know, the materials used in the interior, which I just recently did a bunch of Alcantara stuff, and just the sound with the exhaust, you know, everything. I like to put my touch on it and make it just a little bit better, at least in my eyes. So now the question is, should you modify your WRX or STI? Honestly, it's really going to come down to what you prefer, you know, your driving experience to feel like. If you want something a little bit more sporty and, you know, lower and everything, then yeah, go ahead, go lower your car, do all the fun stuff you want. But like I said, make sure you know where that line is and don't go over the top. If you do reputable parts and you don't go overboard with it, I promise you, it's gonna be probably the most fun car you've ever driven. Taking a step back and looking to where my car is currently and where I've gone with it, I couldn't be more pleased with the direction that I took and just how it drives. You know, you see all these pictures and videos of the car, but sitting in this driver's seat and actually getting to drive it is a completely different experience. It's so cool to see everything that I've done and see it all come together and just, you know, make it one amazing, you know, cohesive package. And I feel like I really accomplished a great thing here with this car, and I'm really proud of it. And I feel like you guys can do that too. You know, take your time. Don't rush to do stuff. Don't just put stuff on the car because, you know, you saw it on Instagram or something like that because somebody else did it. Make sure what you're doing makes sense to you. I encourage all of you to get out there, learn about your car, modify it, have fun with it. If you want to keep it stock too, totally fine. Keep it stock. I have no problem with that. You know, enjoy the car however it is that you want to enjoy it. For me, I like to modify it. I like to put my own touch on it. And, you know, that's just the way I like to enjoy my cars. So, but yeah, guys, that's it for this one. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them below. I'll be more than happy to answer. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you in the next one.